Hello, my friends. We are live once again. This is the second stream of the day. We have a ton of great content that we are putting out for you guys. We heard what a lot of you guys recommend for us. We still a new channel, but now we are really starting to put more clips out. Third, we have clips of the General Strike Summit coming out. We just released the conversation we had with Jimmy Dore. Max Blumenthal was on the panel as well. A few weeks ago, I released a conversation that Brown Joy Gray had with Rome, with Finney, Nico House as well. So you're gonna continue to get more of those clips coming out this year, and we are going to continue to hold these summits talking about very important issues. The summit that we did earlier today, I joined with my wonderful friend Josana. That's what we was doing, the student loan strikes. But we had a lot of like student debt activists on. We talking about student loan debt strikes, so make sure you gotta check that live stream out. So despite the fact that I did that stream earlier today, I still want to jump on because there's still a lot of stories I want to talk about. Still a lot of fun stories because when I do the Nick and CJ show, me and CJ, we have such good chemistry. Like we always we have these shows planned and we never ever get through them all. And I think a lot of these things are important to talk about. So I want to jump on these streams, maybe solo more often, so I can talk about some stories more in depth. I see that a lot of you guys like that kind of content, and I'll be honest with you guys. This work I take very seriously, and I am deeply humbled when people tell me that I help them get more involved in mutual aid. Like people tell me that they like done with the Democratic Party because of this channel. The people who donate to strike funds and supporting worker movements after the General Strike Summit, the people who reach out to me, that's the kind of work that I really want to do this year and expand on that. So I'll be honest, I also want to jump on these streams more because I really want to get to 15,000 subscribers. I think we just hit 13.1, right? I think we just hit that because after the General Strike Summit, our channel slowed down a little bit, but we're still not even we are 1 year old on April. 1 year old on April. So we are still very young. So I'm just blessed to be where we're at right now. I'm glad that you guys enjoy the content. The best way to support us citizen journalists is through Patreon and direct donations as well. So we also appreciate the love and you guys sharing the streams and that kind of stuff. Like earlier today, like we had Josana on. We was talking about student loan issue, and it's one of those issues that I'll immediately be your enemy if you're against, because studies show that if you cancel student loans, not do litmus tests, not do means tests, if you means test student loans, like if you cancel student loans up to 10,000 to 50,000, that defeats the entire purpose, because the idea of taking your most reliable spending block and putting them in debt, that is beyond absurd as a society. But anyway, that's what we talk about on our last stream. Make sure you guys check that out. I guess we get into some stories, because we have quite a few stories, as you guys see in the title. I saw people in the chat was asking me and CJ yesterday to cover Biden's media meltdown. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to watch the video today. You guys are going to get my reaction, and I'm going to break that down because there's a lot to say about it. Not only just for loud, but on the substance as well. I always try to have somewhat of a different take than you would see on average. Like, cause some people cover this, but I got somewhat of a different take, I think. And also, gotta talk about what I cover. My main priority is state violence, foreign policy, and the class war. To me, those three things, especially if you are a leftist, an anti-imperialist, a resistance fighter against U.S. global tyranny, those should be your three main concerns, because once you look everything the lens from the class war, foreign policy, state violence, you see every policy that they made. The COVID-19 policy, for example, we'll get into this here soon as well. It's all designed to increase the police state. Everything that the liberal class does is designed to increase the police state and the military state. So now we got liberal turn on World War III advocating for war with Russia, even though no one wants it. No one wants it. Even people in NATO are like, whoa, Biden, what the hell are you doing? But this is the liberal class. They prop up giant state budgets, but they do it with a flag. Joe Biden is just like Donald Trump, but he would say Black Lives Matter. And to me, that's very, very disrespectful. But we didn't get into the stories here. I appreciate we got comrades in the chat. I appreciate Quaker Anarchists, great friend of the show, always showing support. I have a few articles that are in production now, so if you guys want to support and follow my Substack, we appreciate that. Also, Cashapp and Venmo, SocialistMMA. The best way to support us. Also, you can support a network on Patreon via monthly subscription as well. That's fine. That would be greatly appreciated. And leave a super chat so I can talk to you guys. And maybe I will stop and try and read the chat as much as I can, but I know you guys want to read, get some stories. So let's get right into the Joe Biden video. So this happened yesterday. And now this is the big story that everyone going to be melting down about. The right-wing response has been hilarious. Like everyone on both sides, whenever stuff like this happens, always annoys the shit out of me. Because now the same people who used to mock snowflakes, they now pretend, oh my God, I can't believe Joe Biden said this to a reporter. And then you got liberals who used to melt down against Trump all the time. Even if Trump did the same thing Joe Biden did just now, they will still melt down. They will still say, oh my God, Donald Trump is waging war against the press. But now that Joe Biden is doing it, you got the liberal class that seeing Joe Biden calling the reporter a son of a bitch. Now they're cheering that on, even though they hated it when Donald Trump did it. But now Joe Biden did it. Now they lose their mind over it. So let's watch the video, and then we give you guys thoughts, because this is Biden being asked a question. So let's see how he responds to this, and we react to that.
What do you think President Biden would make of that? Do you think it plays with the political liability?
That's a great asset. More inflation. What a stupid son of a bitch.
Much of that you guys can make out, but Peter Doocy, am I saying his name right? Peter Doocy, he asked him, do you think inflation is a political liability in the midterms? And Biden said, yeah, he being like sarcastic here. It's a great asset, more inflation. What a stupid son of a bitch. And to be fair to Biden, that is a very dumb question. That is a dumb question. Now, I talked to you guys about what I will cover. I will cover if I was on MSNBC, right? Imagine you get the chance to ask Jim Crow Joe any question, and that's your question. We seen the polls, you know the answer to that question. How do you think inflation is going to affect 2022? Could you get a more deeply unserious question than that? Could you? What were you guys asking? I asked him about the ICE story we're about to cover. I'm about to cover a story about Joe Biden's ICE. The theme of this stream, and pretty much every goddamn stream that we do here, is that Joe Biden is just like Trump. My number one goal is to pull people away from the two-party duopoly. I had to break the illusion, because even people who consider themselves to be anti-establishment, even people who consider themselves progressives, they still fall for the lesser two evils. They still vote overwhelmingly for the Democratic Party. We can't even begin the resistance against the United States the United States empire, until we get people to snap out of the two-party duopoly game. So in 2022, you're gonna see the channel get suppressed. I already seen a few people say they didn't get the notification, because on this channel, we're gonna tell you straight up, don't vote for any of these politicians. Don't support these politicians. We need to be building. This is my new. This is why not new, but this is my new thing. Like any third party, any organization, it needs to be horizontal and it need to be a worker-based party that's in the mix of labor struggles. That's it. That's it. Anything that is not based on class struggle, that is not based on ending state violence, U.S. imperialism, that is not, I'm not interested. And you're not going to get rid of those things. You're not going to win the class war at the ballot box. That's the message of this channel coming into 2022. But look at the video again. Now going back to the Biden video. Now the video is hilarious because that reporter kind of deserved it. Now, partisans annoy me because a lot of them are kind of children, very tribal children, where now you have Republicans who was like, liberals, you liberal snowflakes, you fucking pussies, always complaining about Trump. He's speaking truth to the media, who enemy of the people. These same Republicans like, oh my God, Joe Biden, this is insane. This is insane. And the same shit libs, the same liberals that used to claim that Donald Trump going after reporters at press speakers like Jim Acosta, for example, him doing that is a dangerous sign of things to come. This is a threat against democracy. This is a threat against the free speech. This is what they used to say. But now that Joe Biden has done it, now they are yes-quinning Joe Biden. More of this, please. I saw this, and for the love of God, someone please tell me he's joking here. I don't bag on Kyle too much, but Kyle's tweet here like shows the mindset of like the average liberal Karen in response to Biden saying this. Once again, to be fair, I don't have no idea if Kyle is 100% serious when you tweet this. More of this. No, how about more actually fulfilling your campaign promises? I'm trying to see if there's a subtweet. This is my boy Black and Empire. Like, what the hell happened to this dude? I'm trying to see if there's any hint that he's not serious here, because I saw this pretty recently. Please tell me he's not serious. What do you guys think? Because I don't know if you're being sarcastic. I really don't. Because if you're unironically seeing that video and you're like, yes, queen, yes, king, more of this, please. This is what I want to see. That's child shit. That child is like this. Like, we have massive amounts of state violence. Roxanne said Kyle's tweet is deeply unserious. I want to be fair. I don't know if he's being sarcastic because, the only reason I say that because I can only imagine he has to be. Like, he has to be. Let me go back to it. I didn't dig up a ton of liberals' tweets, but you guys can only imagine. I'm sure I can dig up a ton of them. Maybe we can go through the thread, but the liberal response was, "Oh my God, yes, we need more this out of Joe Biden," and that would seem like Kyle Kalinske is saying. I'm not sure though. What do you guys think? I don't see anything that indicates that he's joking though. I really hope he is. So let's watch the video again. Let's watch it again. Just gave our new viewers. Plus, it's pretty short.
What do you think President Biden plays for that? Do you think he plays for the political liability?
That's a great asset. More inflation. What a stupid son of a bitch.
Like, my first reaction when I see that is, I can't believe that's the question you ask. Like, I know that's different because most people immediately they lash out. They're like, they either like, oh my God, Biden is a king for that, or they say, oh my God, Biden sucks, right? My thing is, you can ask this dude anything. A guy who destroyed all his campaign promises. I'm gonna stay tuned on the stream because throughout the course of this stream, I'm gonna show you guys some things that you can ask him. I'm gonna cover how Joe Biden and his administration is defending Donald Trump's administration's use of ICE in the middle of a pandemic and how they use COVID-19 to justify expanding state violence, the police budgets, using the same logic that Donald Trump used. Yes, you did not vote against white supremacy, Karen. I said Vosh. I guess I use real names. David Dole, Mike Figueroa. You didn't vote against white supremacy by supporting Joe Biden because he is arguing in court using the same logic that Trump used to keep people in detention and deport them. He's using COVID-19, which the liberal class and many humanitarian experts at the time accurately said that using a pandemic in order to illegally deny people's right to asylum is illegal, and it's by international law. And people, that was the justification of calling Trump the next Hitler. Like when people talk about what makes Trump different than other Republicans, that was it. Like that was supposed to be the policy. That was supposed to be the policy. But now Biden is defending the policy that made Trump beyond the pale in court. But you guys think you were fighting white supremacy for voting for Jim Crow Joe. So that's just one example of a question you can ask him. Why are you defending Trump's immigration policies in court? But he asked him, do you think inflation is going to hurt your 2022 midterm? The reason why that's a dumb question, because everyone knows the answer. And that's why Biden was sarcastic. And he said, yeah, you think it's a big asset? What a dumb son of a bitch. Because it is a dumb question. You can ask the president of the United States anything you want. That's your ask. Fox News, man, I told you these right-wingers, man, they're unserious. The same way the liberal class was unserious when going against Trump. I just broke down in the recent live stream all the fucking crazy ways you can attack Trump. And I used to troll Trump supporters all the time. Hey, remember when your boy said used to call Hillary Clinton out for her ties to Saudi Arabia and how she used to take donations for Saudi Arabia and then she would funnel weapon deals and give her and pretty much be Saudi Arabia's bitch. And then Donald Trump took office, took Saudi Arabia money to his hotels, and did the same exact damn thing. They're the same thing, man. And so I talked to Trump supporters like, so you don't care about that. You don't care. Because that's a great point when he went against the Clinton Foundation corruption. When Trump talked about how we don't protect workers. But then more jobs are outsourced under your boy than Barack Obama. Crickets. So the liberal class, when they was going against Trump, they had real shit they could hit him on. But what did they do? They pushed Russiagate. Sam Cedar went on MSNBC, the so-called progressive. Sam Cedar went on MSNBC and pushed Russiagate. You can hit him on the Ukraine, the fact that he sent weapons to Ukraine, the fact that he funded multiple genocides like Biden is doing as well. The Emoluments Clause is another great one. You had all of these real things. The fact that he's trying to illegally coup Venezuela, something else that Democrats support, because the secret is all the bad things that Donald Trump supported, the worst things in his administration, the Democrats was right there cheerleading them and supporting the agenda. The media didn't report on it. At least, well, the big outlets. I'm gonna explain to you guys. The corruption in our state is actually widely reported. It just the big media heads, they never talk about it. Like, my politics is really easy to reach. It's really easy to reach. It's right there. They would talk about the shit the CIA did in the global south, and it would be in the Washington Post. It would be in the New York Times. They'd be like, how the CIA destabilized the global south, the torture program ran by Dick Cheney, how Barack Obama drone strike the most people in United States history. And they'd be in fucking liberal news outlets, and then I bring it up to them, and they'd be like, what? That's how I know they just get their opinions from talking heads. That's how I know, like, if you're a progressive, and there was a lot of them. Whenever I saw progressives push Russiagate, I'm like, okay, you watch TYT, you watch Sam Cedar. That's how you get your news. You don't read, you don't observe, you're not policy oriented. You just like, all right, I'm gonna listen to a talking head, take his analysis, and just go with it. And that was most people do in the two-party system. That's why a lot of motherfuckers were saying shit like, "Oh, Russiagate is real. We gotta take Russiagate seriously." That's why you got people like Vox repeating the Syrian gas attacks narrative. Oh man, I heard it. Oh man, I don't get it. So a theme of this stream and all my other streams is how Joe Biden is just like Trump. Look at how he dealt with the media, and to be clear, guys, there's a reason why I'm covering it like this. I'm not one of those people that give a fuck that the president is mean to a reporter. To be 100% with you, because think about my position. Think about my position. What's up, Claudia? Good friend of mine. My position is, and I talked about this last stream with CJ. There should be no press secretary. The president should be in front of the reporters, taking questions from them at least an hour a day. You owe us an hour. You're not that goddamn busy. You owe us an hour to explain your policies and the direction you are taking the country. Now, when you talk about real serious life or death shit, when you talking about money being moved around, I'm talking about economics now. I'm talking about trillions of dollars being moved. I don't care if these press briefings are heated. I don't care. Like, if you're a left-wing president, there's a right-wing dude trolling, you should be able to shut him down. Like, imagine if I was president, right? And I was like, oh, I'm gonna do executive order to expand Medicare for all in the middle of this pandemic, and this right-wing reporter like start trolling me, like, oh my god, you want to expand the government? I'm like, oh, you against me giving people health care in the middle of the pandemic. That's the argument that you want to have. Like, I'd be more than happy to have these discussions. The neoliberals and the Republicans and the conservatives, they don't, because they know they're doing the wrong thing. So they do everything they can to hide from the media. So even when I see stuff like this from Joe Biden, I don't personally get upset, because in my ideal society, it would be a president having fiery exchanges with his constituents, which is the media and the general populace, that asking and demanding you answers. And if I was the president and I was trying to advocate for canceling medical debt, ending the wars, and I had pro-war, like if I was ending the war in Afghanistan, I had pro-war reporters like going at me with pro-war talking points, like, oh my god, you're gonna strengthen Al-Qaeda. Oh my god, you're un-American. I'm like, man, get the fuck out of here. Fucking Pentagon bought off weapon defense contracting, love and reporting. Like, I'm working for the people. I'm trying to end the wars. What the American people don't care about. Most people can't even like find Ukraine on the map. Anything you want to go in the war, Ukraine. Like, this kind of shit I would say if I was president. So I'm not mad at Biden for that, right? But I want you guys to understand the media strategy between Donald Trump and Joe Biden and the ruling class as a whole is exactly the same. We will screen the questions, which for the most part is illegal. I don't know how they get away with that. But then if there is a question that's go off script, they all extremely hostile. This is not just a Joe Biden thing. This is not just a Donald Trump thing. I seen Chris Cuomo go off on reporters. I seen Jim Clyburn go. Like, this is the strategy. Like, if you are running as a politician, this divided, dumb, two-party duopoly, you get people to have a tribal reaction. You have people immediately take your side. You demonize people that attack you. This is an established plan. This is not anything new that Donald Trump started. Now, this is one of my favorite clips because I want you guys to see how Nancy Pelosi handles hard questions. I shared this clip before, but when you watch the clip of Nancy Pelosi being called out for insider trading in this conference, it's the same thing that Donald Trump would do. It's the same thing that Joe Biden would do. Their job is to lie and obfuscate and attack people who ask them tough questions. So check this video out by Nancy Pelosi, and you realize that this is an established plan or strategy that's taught by the ruling elite. Like, if you go through Yale, if you have mentors like Stephen Kissinger, if you have the same mentors as Trump, as Clinton, this is what they teach you to do. If you have the same mentors as Nancy Pelosi, this is what they teach you to do. So watch this.
And former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and her husband had participated in at least 8 IPOs. One of those came in 2008 from Visa, just as a troublesome piece of legislation that would have hurt credit card companies began making its way through the House. Undisturbed by a potential conflict of interest, the Pelosi's purchased 5,000 shares of Visa at the initial price of $44. 2 days later, it was trading at $64. The credit card legislation never made it to the floor of the House. Congresswoman Pelosi also
Sorry, I was doing an audio test. Hold up.
declined our request for an interview, but agreed to the House. Congresswoman Pelosi also declined our request for an interview, but agreed to call on us if we attended a news conference.
Madam Leader, I wanted to ask you why you and your husband back in March of 2008 accepted and participated in a very large IPO deal from Visa. At a time there was major legislation affecting the credit card companies making its way through the House. And did you consider that to be a conflict of interest?
I don't know what your point is of your question. Is there some point that you want to make with that?
Well, I guess what I'm asking is, do you think it's all right for a speaker to accept a very preferential, favorable stock deal?
Well, we didn't.
And you participated in the IPO.
Well, I have many
And at the time you were
investments, but that
Speaker of
doesn't-
the House. You don't think it was a conflict of interest or had the appearance
No,
of a
it was
conflict
not.
of
It
interest?
doesn't. It only has appearance if you decide that you're going to have elaborate on a false premise. But it's not true, and that's that.
I don't understand what
yeah.
part's not true.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to
That I
ask you-
would act upon an investment. Yes, sir.
Congresswoman Pelosi pointed out that the tough credit card legislation eventually passed, but it was 2 years later and was initiated in the Senate.
I
way
will
through
hold
the-
my record in terms of fighting the credit card companies as a Speaker of the House or as a member of Congress up against anyone's.
So to give you guys some background into that for new viewers, Nancy Pelosi was called out for insider trading a long time ago because she was complicit in killing a regulation deal in a business that she had investments on. Now, this regulation eventually passed, but it passed through the Senate. And the whole time when she was questioned on this, she lied, attacked the reporter credibility, deflected. And the reason why I'm showing you this is because I'm showing you guys that the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, they have the same exact media strategy. It's the same exact thing that you see now Joe Biden there. Joe Biden was just asked about canceling student loan debt. Nothing. These people don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about like actually being held accountable for their actions. Like in governing, if you question them, they immediately will shut you out. They put you on their enemies list. Like WikiLeaks exposed how Hillary Clinton had enemies in the media and people that she loved in the media who was plants that asked her great questions. And now that was an example of Nancy Pelosi being asked about insider trading. And now Nancy Pelosi is fighting against like Ossoff. Here, let me see if I can find a story. Oh shit, I almost had a heart attack. I thought my stream broke. I'm trying to find a story because I just not thought about it. Nancy Pelosi is fighting against the regulation that Ossoff is trying to put in to end insider trading. I'm just trying to pull up the story, so we gotta go through it right now. House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer says he's not sure that it's not necessary to ban lawmakers from stocks trading because insider trading is already illegal. What? As if they're not already doing it. And plus, this is a loophole. What? Because the whole point is they're trying to ban spouses from stock trading because Nancy Pelosi's husband made a ton of money through stocks. How does he get the information to make such great investments? I'm sure it has nothing to do with the fact that his wife is Speaker of the House. And then Nancy Pelosi uses that as plausible deniability when asked about like how you keep putting this legislation that keep increasing your stock portfolio. But then she's like, no, it's my husband's stock. It's not mine. I have nothing to do with it. And then anyone who's not an absolute fucking moron knows that they are 100% hustling the game. So I just found this news story right here, but Hoyer is another one who's against it. Nancy Pelosi is fighting against it as well. Let's see if I find Nancy Pelosi reversed her firm opposition to a ban. Is this new? Let's see. Hold on. What is this? 20. Nancy Pelosi changed course, says she's open to stock trading ban for lawmakers if members want to do that. Okay, so this is an update for the story. So apparently, the rhetoric that she's saying that she's open to it. So I guess we got to follow the story. We follow the story closely. But you know what's hilarious? Nancy Pelosi, and this just came out this evening. Nancy Pelosi is running again. Yes, Nancy Pelosi, who is she's 81, 82. She's been in Congress since the Flintstone era. Right? I remember she was considered a progressive in the 80s. A lot of people forget about this. Nancy Pelosi supported single-payer health care. And in a time where America was deeply homophobic, she was shown being strongly supportive of the homosexual community. I see people in comments like, what? I'm going to show you guys the clip. Nancy Pelosi gave a speech that was in favor of single-payer health care. Now, what does that sound like? a new up-and-coming congressperson, superstar who's extremely progressive, who advocates for single-payer health care before they shift to the right. Who does that remind you of? AOC the next Nancy Pelosi, man. So check this out. She's running again, despite she's like 80, like a billion. How old is she, guys? I think she's 81. She might be 82. Let's see.
Hello, it's Nancy. Thank you for the opportunity to share some thoughts with you, our VIPs, our volunteers in politics, in our ongoing engagement for the people. Thank you for being a constant source.
No. Okay. I made a horrible decision clicking that video. She's so hard to listen to. But she's going to win by a landslide, obviously, because San Francisco is filled of shit libs. So the fact that you even had Shahid, who's strongly anti-imperialist, who we had conversations, we strongly against the CIA. You had a guy who was running on very popular policies, but he only got like 19% of the vote. That's how fucked up shit libs are. And a lot of people who support Nancy Pelosi, they support her because they know that Nancy Pelosi supports their class interest. They know Nancy Pelosi is going to go back for them. San Francisco, in the county that she is a congressperson in, is one of the most expensive counties, one of the wealthiest counties in the nation. They got one of the highest incomes. So isn't it funny how the Democratic Party that's supposed to be pro-worker, their leader is part of one of the wealthiest districts? Why not have your leader as someone who's part of a poor district? Of course not. Yeah, DSA sabotaged Shahid last time. Yeah, DSA was repeating like the like standard Democrat like racist accusations against Shahid. Right? But anyway, we talked about that a long time ago. They was thoroughly debunked. It's the same thing that Pelosi and those Democrats do locally in that era. Whenever there's a resistance to, especially if you're a person of color, if there's a resistance to the neoliberal regime, they always have like an army of Karens. There's someone who was a part of this who blew the whistle. They always go after people of color, anti-establishment minds, and start lobbing shit at them. And they never, and this is the fucked up thing. I'm open for a fair trial. Like everyone should be heard. But they literally kept repeating this bullshit without letting Shahid explain his side of the story. Meanwhile, Joe Biden had an accusation from Tara Reid, and the media never asked him about that. They waited 9 weeks to ask him about it. They didn't talk about it. They smeared Tara Reid. Meanwhile, Shahid, they didn't give him a trial. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. I guess we go through some comments here. Let you guys know. Let me know how the stream is going. I hope you guys enjoying. I guess I can continue. But Pelosi is running again despite her pledge to step down. She said she's going to step down. And I remember, in order for Pelosi to get progressives to support her last time, she said, if you support me for speaker, I'm going to step down for speaker. And she lied to them. And she's still convinced the joke of the squad, AOC, Ilhan, Rashida, she convinced them to vote for her despite the fact that she already lied to them before. And now she's going to run for House Speaker again. And now they're going to look like a fool again. So instead of fighting for Medicare for all in the middle of a pandemic, they voted for Nancy Pelosi. And what did they get? What did they get for voting for Nancy? Over the last year, ever since Democrats had the House, the Senate, and the White House, what did they get for voting for Nancy Pelosi instead of standing in solidarity with activists who were demanding that Biden use executive authority to give everyone health care in the middle of a pandemic? What have they got? Nothing. Except their comfortable careers, which is the goal for them. It's always the goal. I need to hurry up and get through these. I hope you guys enjoying the stream. I'm gonna get to my next story. We got a lot of fun stories to do tonight. Like I said, I like doing these solo streams because honestly, it's very therapeutic for me. And like I said, my goal is to get the channel to 15,000 subscribers. And I think this kind of content, on top of all the other content we do, I think you guys can help the channel. Like, we only been doing this for less than a year, guys. So please continue to help us by sharing. Also had the link to our Patreon as well in the description. If you guys want to become a member and support us, help us grow. Because imagine, like, we have dreams of grandeur here. Like, imagine, like, I want the channel, like, I'll be honest, I want the channel to grow. Because imagine we can hold more summits. Like, we have the Jones Strike Summit. We have the International Leftist Solidarity Summit coming up soon. Imagine, like, if Revolutionary Blackout was at 100,000, imagine a Jones Strike Summit with us at 100,000 subscribers. Like, imagine that. Help us out. Imagine the mutual aid program that we can run and operate. Like, imagine Tour for the Poor with 100,000 subscribers. These are the kind of things we talk about. And it sounds crazy, but fuck the TYT and majority report media style where they stay in their air conditioning studios and only talk to Harvard elites. They only talk to Democratic operatives. They only talk to approved people. Fuck that shit. Like, if you are a progressive outlet, you need to be giving the voice to the people. You need to be at worker movements. You need to be starting. You need to be starting the third worker party and spearheading that instead of sheep herding people to Democrats. So that's why, like, we think about, like, imagine this channel got big and we can start organizing massive stuff like this. Anyway, so hopefully you guys can share, and, like, if one person shares to a friend, that gets 26,000 subscribers, right? But that's not realistic. But imagine my ass is not too unrealistic. Thank you for your super chat, Black Fruit. Stay strong. Love your work. Appreciate the uplifting comments. Like, all the support, it helps us keep doing this stuff. Like, I want to give you guys more content. Because I'm not one of the people that want to make excuses. Because, like, after the Jones Strike Summit, we have been stagnant. Not really. Because we only started in a year, so we used to getting like 1,000 subscribers a month, and then we didn't get it for the first time. We were like, what? But I'm not just gonna blame only the algorithm. I think we can do a better job. I think we can do more content. I think we can do more clips. That's why you're seeing us release more clips. So the point is, we are trying to do better content for you guys. We're new to this game, and I think we're getting better, right? So if we are, please share the stream. Please show support on Patreon. That's my ask, because we got big goals for this year. So thank you for your super chat. Thank you, Justin, for the $10. Heard the Dark Ages myth. Mainstream media repeating the experts saying Weiss invented eyeglasses and mechanical clocks. So no church scientific dark places. No, I didn't do that much reading to that. The Dark Ages myth. There is one thing I'll say. There are a lot about ancient society that we really, really don't know that much about because of book burnings by kings and the Crusades, and, like, whenever there was, like, religious wars, like, there are a lot of knowledge that was lost. Like, The fall of Baghdad is like a great example of that. So there's so much examples of lost knowledge. And I have a lot of respect for Marx, Lenin, and a lot of communist thinkers, right? But the idea that Marx and Lenin created socialism is beyond absurd. Like socialism and communism, Marxism as you know it, is essentially how indigenous people in African tribes, Hawaiian tribes, have lived throughout the course of our time for centuries. And that's as far as we know, because there's a lot of records that was destroyed. As far as we know, I remember I was talking to my Hawaiian friend, and I'm speaking for him, and I'm not pretending to be expert on this particular thing, right? But he was telling me, like, from what he knows in Hawaiian culture, like going back to the old school indigenous days before the colonizers took over, they would essentially live in communism. It was essentially socialism, communism, and they was extremely happy. They got all the work done before 12. Then they divided the work amongst each other, and then they just relaxed. And they lived long lives because they wasn't stressed. They fed everyone. There was no homeless problem, no extreme poverty problem. They essentially were living a socialist communist existence. So Marx and Lenin did a great job expanding on theory and idea, but they didn't create the shit. Like indigenous people live this shit because this is socialism and communism is inherently human. Capitalism is new. I'm gonna go into some more super chats before I go on too much of a spill. But I don't know. But my point is, I don't know that much about the Dark Ages myth, but there is a lot of lost ways that humans have lived. Like if you guys think this capitalist way of existence is what is natural, is not. Like, I don't know. I'm not gonna go on spill. Maybe for another stream. But there's empirical evidence. If you look at indigenous tribes, if you look at people outside of our system, and then you look at people that lived before the technological boom, they was happier. Now, you got cranky boomers who will say they was happier because they was free for technology. Oh my God. Like, the cranky boomers will say, oh my God, I hate all the phones and internet. They are making people unhappy. Nah, I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that. I think it's the way our society is structured. It's breaking people's brains. The more community-based way that indigenous tribes used to live, that African culture used to live. Hell, even a lot of European cultures that I don't know as much as I do the indigenous cultures, but even they lived a much more community-based approach than we do. We have an extremely individualistic base to living. You don't know your neighbor. In fact, not only do you don't know your neighbor, you don't trust your neighbor because you're like, oh my God, they might break in and steal my shit. You know what I mean? So this way of living, it sounds right to you because we was bred this way, but it leads to people being depressed. People don't like this shit. But that's a topic for a whole nother day. Bianca said they're gonna vote for Pelosi. They're all actors. They are told the game to play, and that's it. They have acting coaches. There we go. Thank you for a $10 super chat, Andrew. I know you're not big on electoral politics, but do you think it will accomplish anything to make Shahid versus Pelosi 22 as a flashpoint for the left? If you're in that area, and if you might as well, I'm not gonna tell anyone not to try to dethrone Nancy Pelosi. Well, I would tell Shahid, and me and Shahid, we talk about electoral politics plenty of time. I had him on the show before. What I would tell him now is the only value I see in electoral politics is as a workers' movement. And I think Shahid knows this. So if you run a workers-based campaign that support workers-based movement, I don't see any harm in that. But my thing is, should we be donating to top-down organizations? No, I don't think we should. But to answer your question directly, should it be a big flashpoint? Nah, not really. Because Shahid ran a great campaign, but he still only got 19% of the vote. So how much resources should we really spend? Should we spend on mutual aid more? It's a tough question. Yeah, we are demonetized as hell. So that's why I always ask you guys to support on Patreon, because I have long since given up making money on YouTube. Making money on YouTube is probably the dumbest fucking thing you can possibly do. Let you guys know. So if you guys want to support, the Patreon it's completely optional because this is free content. So, yeah, we demonetize every stream pretty much. Yeah, there's so much lost history. Maybe I gotta invite like a historian on. I can do a whole podcast on that. I can do a whole extra episode on lost history and what we forgot as a society. Like, I remember I talked about this before, but people say, yeah, we have international child slavery. You guys understand that this phone that I have right here, these phones, is because of child slavery? And if you ask me, and the reason why I don't like straight up boycott that, because there's no ethical consumption under capitalism, because so it will never end. So the only thing you can do is resist the empire and continue to do your best for your community, right? Because even if you like decide not to have this phone, you're gonna buy a shirt that is made from child slave. So you're just gonna be stuck on an endless loop that is a waste of energy. But if you ask me, if there was a button that said if you could end child slavery, if you can end poverty, period, by getting rid of this phone would not be possible. Hell, this phone may cost $3,000. You won't be able to afford it. If you ask me if I would make that trade, easily, without question. Well, see, I remember I saw Voss was like, I wouldn't trade my cell phone for this shit. I love my cell phone. They're the kind of people that are represented by the progressives. Voss was like, I wouldn't give him my phone. I wouldn't give him my phone. Hell yeah. If I had a chance to end child slavery, if I had a chance to end it, I saw videos, and I might look them up, but I saw videos of child being whipped by soldiers that are mining materials made in this phone. If I had a hypothetical where if I put a button that would end this shit, but it would end Apple and iPhones, I would press it without hesitation. Without hesitation. Because honestly, I'm a younger millennial, but I still remember what life was like without this. Like I grew up and I got my first smartphone when I was in high school, but I was still young enough to. I'm still old enough. I'm 30 now. I'm still old enough to remember what life was like without this, and it's not as big a deal as you guys make it out to be, Zoomers. Like, it's great. There's a lot of great conveniences we get out of this. This is an amazing piece of technology, but I promise you, it's not that big of a deal. You will be just as happy. You will find, if you love this thing, you will find another passion. My point is, I can do a whole nother podcast about how societies, probably older societies, actually have better mental health outcomes than America. We think we are this extremely advanced society, but we're not. We trade feudal lords and kings. We trade that for Jeff Bezos. We traded kings and monarchs for Elon Musk, for big tech. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. I get this. Did I miss any chats? I got more. I got some more stories to run. Like on my solo streams, I literally don't know how long I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get through all my stories though. That's why I like doing solo streams, because like when I have guests, I'm like, man, I don't know how long they're gonna be on. These are my solo streams. I can just finish my damn stories. Sabby's in the house. She had a great stream I was watching earlier. Make sure you guys subscribe to Sabby, my revolutionary blackout sister. My thing is, like, I don't like telling. There's some people that would straight up say, "Fuck, hell no, you shouldn't vote. You shouldn't support Shahid. Hell no, you should." I know, and like telling people that, like, bro, if you want to get rid of Pelosi, go ahead. If you were supporting like a neocon, fuck, then I'm like, I'll question you. But I like Shahid. Maybe just because I know him personally, we talked, and we talked about the CIA and how we want to abolish the CIA. So I like the dude. I'm gonna try to go to some chats here. I'm on my own now, so I don't have a co-host today. So you guys gotta be patient. Okay, so I guess I'll move on to my next story. This is what I want to share. This is what I want to share with you guys. I explained earlier how we look at the media strategy that Biden, Pelosi, that's why I show you guys both those videos. It's the same thing you would see out Donald Trump when you see how they address the media. The reason why I never had Trump derangement syndrome is because Trump derangement syndrome is deeply unserious political thinking. It's the idea that Donald Trump is somehow different, that Donald Trump is somehow worse than the others. That's the point. Despite the fact that Jim Crow Joe is one of the most evil public figures in modern American history, he supported every single war, every single genocide, every single class warfare economic policy. including the bankruptcy bill. He spanned the state with a crime bill. He wrote the original drafted legislation that will later become the Patriot Act, which he strongly supported and expanded as vice president. This is the guy that Trump derangement syndrome convinced is somehow the lesser two evils over Donald Trump. So there are a lot of progressives, a lot of people who smeared me and attacked me, who owes me an apology. Because by every single fucking metric, Joe Biden has been worse than Trump. And I'm not saying that Trump is the lesser two evils, because I told you guys I reject that ideology. I am saying, if you look at the metrics, Biden has been worse than Trump. That's not a political statement. That is a number based on facts. That's a number based on the amount of people who've been deported. That's based on the amount of people who are going homeless. That's based on the amount of COVID deaths. That's based on the amount of COVID cases. That is based on the amount of money that has been funded to genocides in Israel, Yemen. Like, every single fucking thing that you can track, Biden has been worse on than Trump. He expanded ICE and expanded the police budget more than Trump, more than the Blue Lives Matter crowd. So I explained earlier in the stream how the cause of Trump derangement syndrome is the idea that Trump is more evil than Hillary and Biden, Hillary and Barack Obama. But anyone who pays attention to policy knew that was bullshit, because Barack Obama created immigration policy that led to Trump. Trump just took advantage of the rules. So what really caused Trump to be called like Mussolini, like an ethnic fascist, right? What really did it was his zero policy stance on the border. So according to human rights experts and immigration lawyers, if you using the pandemic, this is what they attacked Trump for, because Trump and the right wing, they was using the pandemic as an excuse to deny people their legal right to asylum and illegally hold kids in cages and expand ICE, which led to increased sexual assault cases, increased violence, and increased death and suffering of people who are seeking asylum. So Donald Trump's excuse to finally have a zero immigration strategy is to use COVID. So he to use COVID to say we can't allow people into the country because of this COVID-19 pandemic, right? Despite the fact that studies, and this is the argument that liberals are making. I personally would love to look more into this, but according to the studies and other countries show this as well, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything. It is extremely xenophobic way to expand state violence, right? So there have been many lawsuits against Trump because he did this, right? You guys know what the Biden administration is doing right now? The Biden administration is defending Trump migrant expulsions, citing serious COVID-19 risk. And I want you guys to understand, this was the thing. It was the Muslim ban and the Trump expulsion migrants because of COVID-19. Those are the two things. So Biden is now defending Trump. Look, here it is. The Biden administration on Wednesday defended a Trump-era emergency order that U.S. border authorities have used to expel hundreds of thousands of migrants without screening them for asylum. They argue that the unprecedented policy is still needed to control the spread of the coronavirus. I thought the vaccine would protect you. I'm telling abolitionists right now, if you guys are repeating COVID narratives that are being used to expand the state and state violence, you are out of your fucking mind. You're abolitionists, but you're for mandates. These same I just saw a black girl get arrested because she didn't have a vaccine card. I'm gonna see if I can find a clip. But the police state is being expanded because of the mandates, because you're gonna need a use of authority. So if you are an abolitionist, why the hell are you against? Why are you for these mandates in an authoritarian neoliberal hellhole? So now liberals are using COVID and extreme COVID policy and the COVID freakout to expand on Trump-era immigration policies. Congratulations. Congratulations. You guys ended white supremacy. You guys ended the lesser of two evils. I mean, you guys supported the lesser of two evils. You guys ended white supremacy. Because now they're using COVID. They're using the COVID freak out to justify Trump's policies. If you're on the left, you better start analyzing what's happening right now. I'm gonna see if I can find here. Let me see if I can find the receipt. I didn't have this prepared, so let me see if I can find it. I pretty much had to search my Twitter history. I guess I shared this. Fuck. Well, I shared this last time, but this is where the Democratic Party is heading. Maybe I can find. She was 9-year-old. Can I ask you guys for help? Do you guys know the clip I'm talking about? The clip of that black girl getting arrested. If you guys share that in the chat, I can find it. I don't have a producer, so I can try and find it. But I covered this before. I'm gonna get to this again. This is what the vaccine code is pushing for right now. Nearly half of Democratic voters think the federal and state government should fine or imprison individuals who they're not anti-vax. They didn't refuse the vaccine, but fine or imprison people who question the COVID-19 vaccine narrative. Not whether you take the vaccine, or just whether you question it. Nearly half of Democrats think you should have regressive fines and fees placed on the working class, and they want to expand the prison industrial complex. I want to see if I can find that video of that girl getting arrested. Now you're getting black women, black girls getting arrested. I think we may have the clip in the comments here. But remember, I went on Jimmy Dore's show. Damn, I don't know if I have the. But I went on Jimmy Dore's show, and I was one of the first leftists with him that was making the arguments against mandates. And I told you guys that mandates going to lead to the expansion of the police state. And now we're literally seeing it. We're literally seeing black girls getting arrested by the police. Let's see this. Let's read the story. I want to make sure it's 100% accurate. Because I believe in quick honor. Because this is what they linked. Police heckled as they arrest group of museum visitors for not showing vaccine passports. So let's read. I want to make sure I'm accurate. Let's make sure we're 100% accurate, especially when we talk about this. She was arrested. She was detained after refusing to show vaccine cards. So they was heckled. So she was escorted out, and her parents was arrested. I think the adults are arrested, but she was detained. So I guess that's the difference. But either way, that's why I'm against that. I guess I'll get back to the story. Oh yeah, but the ice story. So let's get back to the detentions. So this has happened under the Biden administration. Now this is why you see, and this is why neoliberalism leads to the greater evil. This mechanism that we see right here. One of the reasons why Donald Trump wasn't able to deport as many people as Barack Obama was because he didn't have the well-functioning machine that Barack Obama and Joe Biden had. According to the leaks, there were a lot of people in DHS and ICE that didn't even really like Trump, and they was undermining a lot of his orders. Because of that, they actually slowed down deportation rates because it wasn't a well-oiled machine. But when you have a neoliberal like Joe Biden in charge, you have complete harmony in the police state, in the prison industrial complex, in DHS. So now they are able to deport more. That's what's happening. Let me show you guys this. Now, this is the same thing you see from Republicans that's happening under Joe Biden, and this is why Joe Biden is massively unpopular. ICE is detaining more immigrants. COVID is putting them in danger. The Biden administration is placing millions of incarcerated people, including 20,000 who are in ICE detention at risk of COVID-19 illness, disability, and death. This came out today. You guys realize this is exactly what the liberal class melted down about Trump for. This is the same thing I don't like Trump for, but I am intellectually consistent. So when I say that Joe Biden is just like Trump and his presidency is worse than Trump, once again, I'm going by the numbers. The numbers are there. It's you guys that are so propagandized by the red-blue game. When they hear me say that, they're like, oh my God, I have white progressives. I have white liberal Karens that was smearing me, a black man. They were saying a black man is weak on white supremacy. This is what Voss was saying. This is what all the progressives that were attacking me were saying. They were saying the black man is weak on white supremacy because I refuse to vote for Jim Crow Joe, who is doing all the things I knew he was going to do. Like, this shit is not surprising. This shit is not surprising. By failing to adopt a policy of decarceration, let me zoom in. We can dive into the article a little bit. I'm going to try and pick out the important parts. By failing to adopt a policy of decarceration, the Biden administration is placing millions of people, that's what I just read, people behind bars face appalling medical neglect. Now, this is what happens at the detention centers, also in prisons. There were prisoners that was on strike because the prisons were allowing COVID to spread like wildfire. They didn't give a fuck. They are tightly packed in poorly ventilated spaces, have limited bodily anatomy. Damn, liberals are really getting body anatomy recently, aren't they? Anyway, people in ICE detention have limited control over their access to the vaccine, testing, and personal protective equipment. Biden bros, what happened? So isn't it funny how the same people who are they want to push vaccine mandates on the working class people. They want to fine and imprison people by putting vaccine mandates in the country because they want to end COVID. But at the same time, they don't want to give the vaccines to the people in the ICE detention centers. They're not giving the vaccines to people in Africa, in the global south. There's literally a vaccine apartheid. So doesn't that show that at the end of the day, this is about big pharma? Because how much money are you making vaccinating the people in ICE detention centers? They admitted there is no nationwide plan to identify people in ICE custody. So pretty much this article is saying that it's showing how liberals are hypocrites. The whole thing, how they pretend they want to save as many lives as possible. They don't really care because if you're someone who's seeking asylum, they don't give a fuck if you die. They don't give a fuck. All right, let's see what else we got in the story. I want to show you guys this because the number one excuse you hear, and this comes from progressives as well. I've seen Bernie use this excuse. I see the squad use this excuse to justify Biden's horrible numbers. And this was shared by my good friend Gritty. And this sums up why Biden is unpopular in a nutshell. Like, when I call out the shit libs, before I share the graphic, when I call out the shit libs, and I call them out as deeply unserious people, when I use the term shit libs, I'm using it for a reason. I'm talking about like the people who are actually on Twitter defending politicians. Like the people who are they actually have hashtag resist in their Twitter bio. Like they will say, I'm a proud Democrat. These are the people who will smear Tara Reid to defend Joe Biden. But I actually show people grace for the most part, I believe. Like, and I said this from the very beginning on all my streams. If you're one of the people that voted against or you voted for Joe Biden because you had Trump derangement syndrome, because you're not, like, because not everyone is well read in politics like I am. Like, if you're a working class single mom, right, and the only news you have is sprawling headlines, is whatever news clip you see on MSNBC and CNN, it makes sense that you have Trump derangement syndrome because they were talking about stuff that happened under Trump that they never talk about under neoliberalism, under Barack Obama, under Joe Biden. So there are people who was legitimately upset about kids in cages because they did not know that Barack Obama built those cages. They don't know about the fact that Barack Obama was the deporter in chief that built ICE as we know it. I know because I had conversations with these people and they asked me, why don't you hate Trump? I'm like, bro, Trump is doing the same thing Obama did. And I explained that to them. And they're like, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Then they'll be outraged. So my point is, a lot of these people voted for Joe Biden, despite the fact that Joe Biden was horrible before, but they didn't know how bad. So they voted for Joe Biden because they legitimately believed that they was getting rid of kids in cages. I don't blame those people. I don't. Not everyone can be informed about politics. That's why I give no leniency to the Voshes, to the David Pacmans, to the David Doles, to the Mike Figueredos, because you guys know. You guys know. You guys knew about the crime bill. You guys knew about the bankruptcy bill. You guys knew about the fact that Joe Biden was the vice president as a deporter in chief. Sam Cedar knew that shit. They know that, but they still tell you people to vote for Joe Biden because he's the lesser of two evils. They purposely mislead people. Bernie Sanders purposely misled people when he said that Joe Biden will be the next FDR. That is a lie and a cardinal sin that's hard to forgive. It's hard to forgive that because he misled and lied to a ton of people. So I have a disdain for those people, the people who lied and gaslighted us about who Joe Biden was. So the reason why Joe Biden is unpopular because the amount of good faith people who I do not blame, the working class mom who just can't read enough about politics, right? They wanted to end the kids in cages. So now that they see that Biden is doing the same thing as Donald Trump, my analysis is I think they're really pissed off. Not only did Biden not give them $2,000 checks, he didn't give them a public option, but he also continuing Trump's state violence. The thing that got me out into politics. I'm talking about not me. I'm talking about like the voters. Like I'm speaking on their behalf. Because if you look at Biden's approval rating, let me see what was the last one. Like the last approval rating that Biden was at, he was lower than Trump was at his peak on the recent one. So in order to have the approval rating that Joe Biden has, I think it's like in the mid-30s. If you understand politics, for your approval rating to be in the mid-30s, that means you lost a significant amount of people who voted for you. That's why that number is so bad. That means there are millions of people who voted for you that say, oh my God, you're horrible. Those are people who realize that Biden lied to them, that Biden continued the same thing that Trump is doing. That's why I want to share this graphic with you guys because there's a lot of confusion about why Biden's unpopular, and this is why. This is why. I like this graphic because it's also a great way to analyze how Biden is not the lesser, how Trump is not the lesser two evils than Biden, but Biden is like, if you look at the numbers, he accomplished worse shit than Trump. These are talking about all the promises he broke, which, as I said before on my stream yesterday, if you take money from working class people promising something and you lie about it, isn't that worse than the Republicans who say, hey, yo, I'm going to represent the people who fuck you over. Are you okay with that? That's the Republican message. I believe in big business. Big business is fucking you over. But if you vote for me, you can't complain because I told you I was supporting big business. To me, that's pretty straight up. But isn't it worse when you're Joe Biden and you're a working class mom, right? And you're like, I get guaranteed sick and maternity leave. Hell, let's say you're expecting. Let's create a realistic scenario. Let's say you're expecting, and you know you're gonna need that sick and maternity leave. So you decide, even though you are on a small budget, you decide you're gonna invest $20 and donate to that campaign because you figured that $20 donation will be worth the guaranteed sick and maternity leave. Isn't it more evil to take that money and then lie about doing that than being the Republican Party who say, fuck you? Fuck you. Isn't that better that the Republicans do that? Because now I know where they stand. All the shit they lied about. No more kids in cages. So I read it all, just in case you guys can't see it, or if you're listening, because I know I used to just listening thing. A lot of these times I don't even watch. I just listen. So he didn't do $15 minimum wage, no sick and maternity leave, no public option. He didn't reverse. Well, he did reverse the military transgender ban. No free college, no universal preschool, no student debt forgiveness, no mask mandates. If you think that's a good thing, no 2K student stimulus checks. Nothing fun, nothing changing. That's one thing he did promise. Expand Medicare eligibility, didn't do that. No more kids in cages, didn't do that. Didn't legalize cannabis. The easiest thing you can do in the new Jim Crow. He couldn't even do that. Jim Crow Joe can't help himself. You guys think he can end a system that he built? Hold MBS accountable for murder. I think they're talking about Khashoggi, right? Am I getting that right? Respectable foreign policy? Nope. Still funding genocide. His tweets are nicer, though. He does have nicer tweets. He said to keep lobbyists out of the cabinet. Nope. He said to listen to the scientists. Nope. He's still fracking. He he's still fracking. Still expanding offshore drilling. He actually expanding offshore drilling more than Trump. So once again, that just by the numbers, he's worse than Trump. So the last one's funny. Not be Trump. He can't even do that. I thought that was a funny graphic. So that is why Biden is hated. And now we can talk about why they escalating war. Why do you think Biden is escalating World War III, despite the fact that you have NATO allies, you have German allies that are even saying, what the hell are you doing? Even we don't support this. There are allies that U.S. have in the Ukraine who don't support this. No one supports what Joe Biden is doing, except the weapon defense contractors and the military-industrial complex, because I told you guys the reason why they ended the Afghanistan war while increasing the military budget was because they're changing the foreign policy strategy into a new Cold War against Russia and China and the new emerging global South socialist leaders. And that's exactly what's happening. And that's why it's ridiculous for any anti-imperialist to praise Biden for Afghanistan, because it was obvious for what he was doing. He shifted hot war to economic war, and now he's starving 23 million Afghans. So not only is he starving 23 million Afghans, he's taking the resources he spent in Afghanistan, and now he's set to spend it in Ukraine. Now, the new breaking news is that despite the Western narrative, and I've been following the mainstream media recently because of the new pro-war fervor that was going on. If you watch the Western media, you would not know that according to all the sources, Russia have no intention of invading Ukraine. But they are creating this fervor, and I'm gonna show you guys the receipts on that. They are creating a fervor for literally only one reason. That's to increase the military-industrial complex and funnel more money to weapon defense contractors, which funnel more money to politicians, that give them more generational wealth, which allows them to funnel more money to politicians, which funnel money to their other friends. That's the only reason, because there's not even any geopolitical advantage of us being in Ukraine other than just fucking with Russia, increasing tension, and giving us reasons to justify the military-industrial complex budget. That's the situation in a nutshell. So, because Joe Biden is massively unpopular, he is escalating World War III because he wants to unite the country against a common enemy. Don't you guys see how evil this is? These people are playing with the concept of World War III, and they want to starve countless people. They just announced massive sanctions on Russia that's going to tank the Russian economy, which is not going to hurt Putin, because Putin is one of the richest men alive right now. That is going to hurt the average Russian. That's going to make them poor. And they're doing it so they can overthrow Putin. So they're meddling in their country. The same thing they're accusing Russia of doing in Ukraine. That same thing they're accusing China of doing with their initiatives. The Belt and Road Initiative. They say, oh my God, it's the new imperialism. Oh my God, building bridges and roads and forgiving the debt. If that's imperialism, sign me up. Saying that China is imperialist for that is it destroys everything that imperialism is supposed to mean and stand for. Oh man, I need you to read the chats. I've been going off, huh? How do you guys like the stream? Like this is new for the show. But if you watch my old channel, you guys know I'm in my element. This is what I used to do. I love solo rant streams. So, but everything that I explained to you thus far, I've been explaining the state violence of the Biden administration, all the evil, like them expanding the ICE budgets, them like you guys know they're still funding the genocide in Yemen. They're the Saudi Arabia and the U.S. forces, allied forces, are bombing Yemen right now. Israel is literally bulldozing homes as we speak. As we speak, they are still bulldozing homes in Israel. Sorry, in Palestine. In Palestine. The Biden administration has been an unmitigated disaster on humanity. Because not only is he funding all these multiple genocides, he is expanding offshore drilling. He is expanding fracking, so he's making the climate crisis worse. All our worst fears of the Biden administration has been realized, as we know it right now. So that's why we got to go to war. We got to go to war because Biden, people realize that he's full of shit. But the reason why a lot of people that are turning against Biden and the excuses that some progressives are using to kind of apologize for Biden, and I've seen this a lot, and this is time to debunk this. They said, well, of course the Biden administration is struggling because it's hard to get stuff done when you have Democrat senators that are voting against your agenda. So this is the rotating villain argument that they use, saying that Biden would be the most progressive president if it wasn't for Sinema and Joe Manchin. So what did I just go over throughout the course of this entire stream? Every single crime that I explained to you is crimes of the executive branch. Let me repeat that. So when I explained to you why Joe Biden is irredeemable, because he refused to expand Medicaid in a pandemic, which he can do with his executive authority, he could end Israel weapon deals. He could end the genocide in Yemen. He could end the new Cold War against Russia and China that his allies doesn't support. He could end the sanctions on Nicaragua and Honduras and the empire pursuits in the global south. He can make cannabis a Schedule I drug and essentially end the new Jim Crow and drug war as we know it. He could destroy ICE with a stroke of a pen. So how does it make sense to say the reason why the Biden administration is failing is because of Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema when they are in the legislative branch? Do you guys see how so many people in America, they have no idea about basic civics? Why are we judging a president based on what happens in Congress and in the legislative branch? The thing that the president has the most authority over is the military and the actions of the executive branch. So if you look at every action of the executive branch, Joe Biden has been waging class war and he's been funding the forces of oppression. That has nothing to do with Joe Manchin or Kristen Sinema. To be clear, because I hear progressives say this. So it doesn't matter if you guys vote blue. It doesn't matter if you vote for more Democrats. It doesn't matter if you vote harder. It doesn't matter if you get 15 more Democrat senators. If you get 15 more Democrat senators, the police state's still gonna get more money. Israel's still gonna get their weapons deals. There's still gonna be a genocide in Yemen. There's still going to be a genocide in Palestine. You're still going to see the CIA wage war against the global south. You're still going to see the prison industrial complex expand. You're still going to see nothing fundamentally change because these things are crimes of the executive branch. Now, what the government doesn't do through legislation, you can blame Sinema and Manchin, but blaming them for the reason why Joe Biden has been just as bad as Trump does not make sense. It does not make sense. And there's so many people that seem to forget about this. This is why I predicted, told you, this year to be me telling you I told you so, because what else can I do? We're fucked. What else can I do? Other than tell you I told you so. But this is why I predicted that Biden will be just like Trump. Because if you look at all the powers that you have, he's not going to do shit for you. In fact, he's going to be proud of the system he's built, and that's why he's building upon it more. That's why he's funding the police budgets more, ICE more. That's why you see, despite the fact that we are in the middle of a pandemic, now we really got to dive into this one. We really got to dive into this one. Democrats are rushing through a massive Ukraine spending bill. In the middle of a pandemic, the vaccine code says we got to have vaccine mandates because we have overran hospital beds because our hospitals are underfunded. This is coming from the Democratic Party. So instead of funding the hospitals more, that fixes that problem. They cut the hospitals in 2018 despite a flu wave. And now they're spending the military industrial complex, ICE, and now they're about to get they're rushing a Ukraine defense spending bill. They're not giving you health care, not even free testing. This is what they give you. If you guys vote for Democrats this year, man, you guys are dumb. Like, I don't know what to say. I literally don't know what to say. They are literally trying to start World War III that even their allies do not want in the middle of a pandemic. We are giving more weapons to Israel. We are funding multiple genocides. We are spending the state violence as our people suffer. As we die, this is what they do. But people want to tell me this party the lesser evil? How? The House is planning to expedite a massive bill that will dramatically increase U.S. security assistance to Ukraine and lay the groundwork for substantial new sanctions on Russia. No healthcare, no canceling student loan debt, though. Not getting that. Man. You know the funny thing? They want to put mandates on the working class, stay and spend hospital beds, but they want to spend all this money on the military industrial complex. Because you understand the talking point that came from Jen Psaki? I was watching her press conference today. They were saying that the United States has an obligation to defend their eastern flank. Jen Psaki said they have the moral obligation to defend the eastern flank of their allies in Ukraine, right next to Russia. So do you guys understand, under Western chauvinism, under neocon thinking, the United States border extends pretty much to the moon. Pretty much to the moon. If there's a country in Africa, it's in our interest, man. We got to make sure we protect the flank of our allies. What everyone been saying is, this is like saying if Russia funded a takeover of Nazi groups in Mexico that was anti-American, we'll be mad that we put troops near there. Like, that's not what will happen, right? Anyway, it's so ridiculous. So ridiculous. What's next? So their whole thing is, they said it's our obligation, it's our doctrine to do that. Despite the fact that we had the Monroe Doctrine. The Monroe Doctrine stated that anything in the Western Hemisphere is our game, fair play. So that's our thought. That's our philosophy. That's why we meddle in Venezuela. That's why we meddle in Central America, right? In Honduras, Nicaragua, and socialist countries. Because according to the Monroe Doctrine, which a lot of them still believe, anything in the Western Hemisphere is our game. But we believe that. But anything in Russia's backyard is not their game. Do you guys see the hypocrisy here? And who invaded who? They saying Russia invaded Ukraine, even though Ukraine has been part of the larger Soviet Union for centuries. The United States invaded Eastern Europe. Don't get it twisted. This is a great article that I saw earlier today that we got to go through. Who is invading whom? U.S. forces already in Eastern Europe. So the United States that has 800 military bases all over the world. They want to say Russia is invading Ukraine, even though, as I explained, according to all the sources that are not U.S. Western media, that the chances of Russia invading Ukraine is not even going to happen this year. This is just to scare you to fund the military-industrial complex more. So the U.S. already invaded Eastern Europe. So the thing they accusing Putin of doing, we did it already. So I love this article. So I think we should take our time and dive into this. While major media in the U.S., both conservative and liberal, have everyone on edge waiting for a Russian invasion of Ukraine, they ignore the reality that the U.S. has already invaded not just Ukraine, but numerous other countries in the region. And do you guys know the study? I don't have it on top of my head, but ever since the invention of the CIA, they've been involved in over 200 elections. Everything that we are accusing Ukraine of doing, the United States have done. What's good, bro?
No, Marcus text you.
Hmm.
No, this nigga said, he thought you saw if I can run out there to get some.
All right. Yeah, I do that. I'm talking to my roommate, guys. It's all good. It's all good. No, it's all good. They already know what's up. Anyway, that's my brother. But anyway, let's go. Let's continue with the story. The Biden White House revealed Monday as many 50,000 U.S. troops. Oh, I think they're just talking about the background. But pretty much this article will talk about all the places that the United States already invaded. We already know this stuff. So isn't it funny how the United States and Russia have aggression, despite the fact the United States already invaded these countries? So, man, I got some more. I got one more story I cover. I cover one more story. But Asal, you guys know Asal Ra from International Leftist Coalition. She's one of my favorite followers on Twitter. She's been on fire, calling out the Biden administration's lies. I want to show this tweet here. This is a good one. Yeah, we just hanging out in Nick's living room, pretty much. This is U.S. propaganda. Russia steps up propaganda war amid tensions with the Ukraine. Meanwhile, U.S. propaganda push in Iraq. The nerve of these people. love us all. She always had the best tweets. Let's see if I can find another one. This is a good one. I'm gonna show you guys this one because I remember during the whole Afghanistan thing, people were trying to give Biden credit for ending wars. And he said this is the end of the era of endless wars. And anyone who we on this show, and we always say anyone who buys that is the clown of the highest order. So this is what the United States is doing under the Biden executive branch. Biden promises severe response if a single additional Russian force enters Ukraine. So they say, oh my God, if you guys have any Russian forces that go into Ukraine, we're going to have a severe response. We don't care to start World War III. Meanwhile, let's look at what America is doing. So Biden is moving closer to Israel call for Plan B on Iran. So Plan B is, you guys know Israel don't want Iran to get back into the nuclear deal that Donald Trump pulled out of because Donald Trump is insane. So the liberals melted down when he did that, but now Biden won, but he's like, I actually want to keep doing that. So Israel is like, if you guys can't get Iran to agree, yeah, go ahead. If you can take a car. If you can't get Iran to agree to denuclearize, we support hot war. But meanwhile, they want to fearmonger about. They want to say Putin's the madman. Biden UK to help Australia acquire nuclear power submarines and new pushback on China. Biden may face a North Korea crisis within months. North Korea. This is last month. So we are again involved in every hemisphere. But people want to say we should expand the military budget in the middle of a pandemic to fight against Russia when they're doing shit in their own backyard that I don't give a fuck about. Yeah, saw that's her Twitter. So, how you guys like the long streams? I really like the long streams, man. They're more they're really therapeutic in a way, and I get to dive into the issues more than I usually can do when I have guests on, right? So, follow Saw. She's gonna be on next Tuesday. Next Tuesday, we're gonna have the International Leftist Coalition return. I saw Raw will join us. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a great show. Yeah, we're just hanging in Nick's living room. Let's see. Let's read some. I'm gonna read some comments and then we can do the last story. Hope you guys enjoy. 90 minutes. I still got time to do another story, and this is my second stream of the day too. So I told you guys I'm 100% transparent with you guys on everything. Right? I'm doing these solo streams not only because I like the format, because this is kind of what I used to do on my old channel, but I want to increase the sub count. And I think providing this content what people like. So we just hit 13,100 subscribers, which is crazy. Our goal is to get to 15,000 subscribers by summer. So we should start a hashtag RBN 15K. RBN to 15K. We gotta do that. So that's our goal. That's our goal. So that's why I want to do these streams more often. Let's see what this one say. The U.S. empire cannot tolerate another nation surpassing it for economic and political supremacy. It will even risk nuclear holocaust and human extinction to remain on top. 100%. And do not forget that our ruling class will survive the apocalypse. They will survive the climate crisis. They will have their bunkers, and they have freedom of movement. They have complete freedom of movement. So the people who are like, oh my God, I can't believe you guys advocate for open border policies. We already have open borders for the rich. The borders are only a construct designed to control the flow of workers. The only thing that stops me from migrating is money. If you have money, you can migrate. So if you can migrate with money, the only thing that's stopping the only thing the border is a financial restriction. So the point is, they don't give a fuck if things really go south. They want to maintain their dominance and the neoliberal regime in order, even if it leads to the destruction of society itself, because they're good. Their generational wealth is taken care of, and their power dynamic stays in place. Thank you for the great comment. Support independent media like RBN. They and other indie media are all that stands between us and a nation full of smooth-brained CNN zombies. Thank you for the chat. This is why we have alliances. We try to have alliances with all the real lefty channels. Like, you guys see, we never invite none of the TYT people on. Like, you're not gonna see none of the Vosh and the Assange people on. But like, we have hard lens on. Like, we try to blow as many channels. We try to blow up as many channels as possible. I just had Combo Cows people on. I talked to Vanguard people. Had Jackson Hinkle on. We had Jimmy Dore on. We had Max Blumenthal on. Like, the real anti-establishment left. Like, I had Aaron Mate on. All the gray zone people. Like, if you're part of the anti-establishment, not pushing Democrat bullshit, I mean, actually debunking capitalist, imperialist propaganda, I want to form a coalition with you. The reason why is because the number one threat to leftist movement is the corporate media and the battle against free speech. If you don't think we are not going to be able to have a resistance because they're going to black out our media, our movements. That is what they're going to do. So we need a media for the revolution. We need a media for the proletariat. If you watch CNN, if you watch MSNBC, you're gonna get analysis from some guy from Harvard, some guy from Yale, some guy who got he's a CIA analyst. If you watch Majority Report, TYT, they're gonna have people of the professional managerial left that tells you to stay optimistic and happy and knowing that things are gonna change. And I'm gonna be real with you guys because I'm now stumbling onto a point. People who watch my old channel know I do that all the time. I'll stumble to a goddamn point. But when people ask me about leaders, and hell no to Marianne Williamson, hell no, hell no. So I explained before, we were talking about the commander-in-chief. For one, there are people who support Marianne Williamson for commander-in-chief, even though she's a fucking Zionist, even though she supported staying in Afghanistan for the women. She was like, what about the Afghan women? You guys want her to be commander-in-chief? Are you guys out of your fucking mind? Are you guys out of your fucking mind? But anyway, that's not the main point I was making. The point I was making is, if we're going to have any leader, if we were going to have any leader on the left, we cannot have, and this is my theory, I would love to hear what you guys think. We cannot have the Bernie Sanders style, Marianne Williamson style, Nina Turner style, optimism bullshit. You know what I mean? The whole thing like, oh, if we just work hard, we organize, things gonna be great. All we gotta do is just work for incrementalism. I believe in a greater tomorrow. Things are awesome. All we gotta do is keep working hard, and we're gonna make progress. The climate crisis, don't worry about it. We're good. My theory is this positive left. It's a toxic positivity out of left movements. Like Bernie Sanders was asked about. Bernie Sanders was asked about the Biden administration, and this was during the Crystal Ball interview, and he was like, "I'm still optimistic. We still remain optimistic. We gotta kill that shit." The message from a leader of the left movement has to be: we have to destroy neoliberalism. We have to end the prison industrial complex. We have to take on Wall Street, or it will be the end of us. You guys see the difference? It's not we gotta have a political revolution so we can have incrementalism, and we gotta be optimistic. We gotta have change. We gotta believe. We gotta have hope. No, it's either we have this coalition. We either build this General Strike Summit to destroy U.S. imperialism, destroy the police state, or we are doomed. That has to be the message from the leader. That was the message of Fred Hampton. If you listen to the speech from Malcolm X, Fred Hampton, our old school revolutionary leaders, the real leftist leaders, their message was, we got to organize our community or we're dead. If we don't organize, we're dead. That has to be the message. We have to defeat the Democratic Party or we're dead. Not we got to push Joe Biden to the left. Oh, if we put Joe Biden to the left, we can get incrementalism. I still believe in good things are possible. Fuck that. Fuck that. The message I want to see our leftist leader is, we have to destroy the Democratic Party because they don't support healthcare. We got to destroy the Democratic Party because they support ICE. We have to destroy the Democratic Party because they side with the white supremacist system that had destroyed our community. They are polluting the waters in Hawaii. The military had poisoned the black community with impunity. I covered this. So the message cannot be the hope and change bullshit that we get out progressives now. The message, I'm not interested in any leftist leader unless they come out like Malcolm X. Like, we need community protection. We need to form real coalitions to protect ourselves against neoliberalism. To demand change. Like, not, let's support Biden and let's just keep fighting. I know we didn't get exactly what we want this time, but if we keep fighting and we keep organizing, maybe they will like us. Maybe they will accept us. Maybe we'll get PAYGO. We can get the PAYGO exception. You guys know that we can get PAYGO. I got this amendment. We can pay for your funeral cost. That's AOC. I got your funeral cost paid for. Fuck that. We need a leftist leader that's militant. We need, honestly, someone like fucking Rome, like someone who's really ready for community defense and leading people to do what they have to do. Like, you should be leading the General Strike Summit. You guys should be leading the march. Like, they ignored the March for America for All. You guys should be leading it. You guys should be like, like the Amazon workers. They just was complaining about the fact that AOC ghosted them. How is that a thing? How is the fact that Amazon workers complaining that you ghosted them was a thing? If I was a politician, if I was an elected official, the Amazon workers would be like, bro, Nick, leave us alone. We're good. You don't have to keep coming to every damn event. Like, we got this, bro. That's like, I would be so much in y'all motherfucker. Like, when the teachers are striking, when the workers are striking, I'll be there every goddamn time. Like, you guys will get annoyed with me because you guys, people are like, oh my God, Nick, you just trying to get PR off of us at this point. I'm like, no, I'm a working class politician. This is what we do. But instead of showing up at the Medicare for All March, they vote for Nancy Pelosi. They vote for the Democrat Party. They support the incrementalism. I have no interest in that shit no more. No interest. No interest in the I'm optimistic shit. If you're not accurately describing the situation as it is right now, you're a failure of a leftist leader. Man, I'm supposed to read. You guys see? Hope you guys have fun on my streams. Like Quaker Anarchist, she's an old school watcher, so she know. Like I'll be having on my solo streams, I'll be talking about subjects. I start reading comments, and then you guys set me off. I'm supposed to be reading comments. I read one comment. You guys got me into a rant. Jesus. So 72 hours after the water contamination was found in Hawaii, Culligan filtration systems were loaded into C5s bound for Oahu. I want to say Hawaii indigenous name. So, but I'm gonna show you guys the article I was referring to. I reported on this multiple times, and the reason why I report on this multiple times because as someone who watched a ton of independent media, even people I like, once again, not diss track. This is not diss track, but even people I like haven't covered this. And this broke last year. The fact that the U.S. military is actively, U.S. military is poisoning communities across the U.S. with toxic chemicals. And you notice this article is only 9 months old. This was a giant story as far as I'm concerned. I'm not going to go through the whole thing because I covered this multiple times. But there is this forever chemical. Let's call it AFFF. And they was burning it in disenfranchised communities. So when they the reason why I say they poisoned the black community, because when you look at the story, it literally was black people. It was black people and Latino because they can get away with poisoning that community, right? Check this out. I'm trying to find the craziest part I read from this article. Check this out. And I'm not a scientist, so I might struggle through this part. Synthetic carbon fluoride chemistry, now classified as per and polyfluorinated compounds, are coming into focus today as fueling an unprecedented environmental crisis. After a brief moment of practical utility, these compounds come to haunt life with roving mobility. So, as we know, the exposure to these forever chemicals, meaning even if you burn them, they stay in the air. There's nothing you can do to end these chemicals. They are linked to a host of cancers. You get development disorders, immune dysfunction, and infertility. So this is what they was poisoning the black community with a forever chemical that can't be broken down. I'm trying to see if I can find the science on this. Here it is. This chloride-fluorine bond is virtually indestructible. So it's indestructible. So you guys realize that despite the fact that it was indestructible, they were still burning it. They was burning this indestructible chemical. And once again, I am not a scientist. That's why I struggled through this, right? But so when you burn it, it literally just goes into the air. And then it rains down into the water systems, which is leading people to get cancer and literally sterilizing them. So when people like Michael Tracy say shit like, why do you guys say it? What's environmental racism? Like a lot of right wingers mock that. That's what Joy is saying. This is environmental racism. The military was caught poisoning mostly black communities with a forever chemical they knew couldn't burn. They knew they can't. They know there's nothing you can do to it. That's why you gotta stop using it. How did I even get set up on that again? I don't know, man. I don't know. You guys I'll be going on a rant. So Ilhanar said, we had leadership for the last 40 years in our government and not representation. This is where leadership has got us in this country. Nick is right. We need to organize. The thing I advocate for is horizontal leadership. Horizontal. Like we can have figureheads, but the figurehead has to be extremely responsive to the grassroots. That's what horizontal means, right? I have one more story I want to do. I do one more story. If you guys want me to read the comments, super chats are a good way. Thank you for the super chat, Reality Revolution. Just showing some solidarity there. We got a lot of chats now. It's hard to read all of them now, but if you guys want to leave a super chat, that's the best way for me to get to it. I'm not asking for super chat for support because super chats are not the best way to support the channel because YouTube takes a large cut. That's why I asked to support the Patreon, and you can donate to SocialistMMA on Venmo and Cashapp if you want to show real support, right? So let me do the last story of the day, and then we can wrap up with some comments. And then CJ has a lot of good shows for you two guys tomorrow. So Jen Psaki, you guys make fun. I call her Psaki. It's Saki, isn't it? I think it's Saki. So she has a really hard job recently. And she has been dragged by a lot of people. Because how do you defend the Biden administration? I made this argument when I was on Jimmy Dore's show. I made it yesterday. I was on Radio Sputnik. I made this argument. Instead of getting mad at Jen Psaki, get mad at the fact that there's a press secretary. The press secretary, that position shouldn't even exist. It shouldn't even exist. Their job is to literally lie for the president. So instead of getting mad at Jen Psaki, get mad at the administration. Because her job is to deflect criticism and blame for Joe Biden. So this is the recent video that we shared on Nick and CJ's show. And this went viral. Even the slave queen liberals have a hard time defending her. Even in the very beginning, they was like, yeah, I love sassy queen. I love sassy queen Jen Psaki. They even having a hard time doing that now. Because she's getting that bad. Because when pressed on by the Biden administration inability to fucking do anything, even voting rights, and we showed this video before, I'm going to show it again because it's pretty short. This is what her response. So check this out.
So my advice to everyone out there who's frustrated, sad, angry, pissed off, feel those emotions, go to a kickboxing class, have a margarita, do whatever you need to do this weekend, and then wake up on Monday morning, we got to keep fighting. And what that means, Lindsay, is we have to keep talking to members about federal legislation. That's essential. That's something that can be permanent, that can make sure people's rights are protected. But we also need to make sure people are educated in states across the country about what their rights are, how they can vote, when they can vote, how to request an absentee ballot. There's a lot we need to do on that front, and that's going to rely on the energy and the anger of that activism as well. So
when this video came out, even once again, look at this ratio. Look at that. Even liberals couldn't defend this. I like this tweet. Psaki is beyond parody. The government failed to do a basic thing again. Go drink. So people say, oh, go drink, go relax. We fucked up. But once again, this is the part I don't like. Psaki is beyond parody. No, Jen Psaki is the best there is. Jen Psaki is the Michael Jordan of neoliberal press secretaries because this is exactly what she's designed to do. This is why everyone should support abolishing press secretaries. Everyone. Because their job is to lie on behalf of the administration. Now, and I'm going to get to that point here later, but you notice how she said, oh, you got to go relax, and then let's go back, and you got to go fight. You got to go organize. You got the administration telling people that they got to fight, that you failed them. The Democrat Party didn't fail you. You failed them. That's the message that comes from the Democrat Party. They never failed you. You should just fought harder. You should vote harder. If you voted harder, we probably should be getting these things, right? But we went over the video before. But this is my pitch for abolishing these press secretaries. because they accomplish nothing. I think the president should be there every day, at least 1 hour a day, addressing the press themselves. You shouldn't have, because think about it. Why is it a young woman? Why did Donald Trump, he had younger women as his press secretaries, other than Sean Spicer? Because the idea is you're supposed to have someone who's softer and someone who's more charismatic that lies on your behalf. So instead of getting mad at Jen Psaki, get mad at the fact that that position exists. Because Jen Psaki only got that job, and only the people who get those jobs are people who are morally bankrupt. So when people say that Jen Psaki is a bad press secretary, no, she's not. She's a great press secretary. She's doing exactly what a job is designed to do. In fact, she got that job because she's amazing, and she has been an amazing mouthpiece for the establishment her entire career under Barack Obama. So do you guys want to know how Jen Psaki got that job? I got a hilarious clip I want to show you guys. So this was under the Barack Obama administration, where Jen Psaki and the U.S. imperialist talking points. Oh, come on, hold up. Are you kidding? All right, am I back? God damn. Hope you guys stayed. Can you guys hear me? Let me check. I just got booted for a second.
I'm back.
All right, that's the dangers of doing these streams alone. Because if something happens, you're fucked. But anyway, I'm gonna leave off where I start off. I'm gonna show you guys how Jen Psaki got that job. Check this video. This is an amazing clip.
They'd arrested multiple people. Maduro last night went on the air and said that they'd arrested multiple people who were allegedly behind a coup that was backed by the United States. What is your response?
These latest accusations, like all previous such accusations, are ludicrous. As a matter of longstanding policy, the United States does not support political transitions by non-constitutional means. Political transitions must be democratic, constitutional, peaceful, and legal.
The U.S. has whoa. The U.S. has a long-standing practice of not promoting. What did you say? How long-standing is that? In particular, in South and Latin America, that is not a long-standing practice.
I love that clip so much. Because I told you, Jen Psaki got her job because you see how shamelessly she's willing to lie on behalf of the United States empire. She would, with a straight face, I'm going to play it again. She with a straight face, as the face of the country, as a press secretary, as a secretary. She was working on a smaller office then. She was making the argument that it's a long-standing U.S. policy to not get involved in democratic elections. She says this shit with a straight face. So even, I don't know that guy. I don't want to diss him, so I don't know that guy, but props to him. So he calls out, I was like, did this motherfucker just... Hold up. Did she just say that the United States never got involved in other countries' democracies? Have you ever heard of a place called the Global South? Let's play it again, because that's my interpretation of the video.
Maduro last night went on the air and said that they'd arrested multiple people who were allegedly behind a coup that was backed by the United States. What is your response?
These latest accusations, like all previous such accusations, are ludicrous. as a matter of
Arrested multiple people who were allegedly behind a coup that was backed by the United States. What is your response?
These latest accusations, like all previous such accusations, are ludicrous. As a matter of longstanding policy, the United States does not support political transitions by non-constitutional means. Political transitions must be democratic, constitutional, peaceful, and legal.
The U.S. has whoa. The U.S. has a long-standing practice of not promoting. What did you say? How long-standing is that? In particular, in South and Latin America, that is not a long-standing practice.
So why am I sharing this? I love that dude reaction. He's like, bro, did she just say that? What I think she just said? That's essentially what his reaction was. The point I am making with this segment is that the press secretary had to go because it's not Jen Psaki. I know she's irritating, guys. I know it. But she is only following the orders of the Biden administration. And people allow, people allow their, well, I want to say this. Let me rephrase this. Don't allow your hatred of Jen Psaki. Like I've seen liberals do. I've seen liberals get mad at Psaki, but they're not mad at Biden. She's following the direction of the Biden administration, to be clear. And her willingness to lie and say the United States never meddle in an election. You see how shamelessly she can say that? The fact that she's willing to say that with a straight face, that's how she got that job in the first place. So even if you don't have Jen Psaki, you're going to get Sarah Huckabee Sanders. If you don't get Sarah Huckabee Sanders, you're going to get Sean Spicer. If you don't get Sean Spicer, you're going to get fucking the other lady name. Trump's other press secretary. I forgot her name. Calais McCanny, whatever. But I remember people didn't like her either. But people like, oh my God, she's the worst. But I'm like, bro, it's the press, it's the position, it's your government. It's the fact that these people have to lie for the people in the suits that you guys think is a redeemable system. So, hope you guys enjoyed the stream today. I think at 2 hours, I think it's a good time to wrap it up. Yeah, 2 hours is good. Like I talk too damn much. I will do more of these solo streams, especially if I get good feedback from it. Like it seems like you guys like the last two I did, and these are usually fun because it allows me to talk to you guys a little bit more, and it allows me to expand on my thoughts because most of y'all follow me on Twitter. Most of you guys do. I got 62,000 fucking followers on Twitter. Like I got 62,000 followers on Twitter, but we only got 15,000 subscribers here. So the thing is, people like my tweets, but my tweets are literally just me saying the first thing that comes to my mind when I go through politics, right? The only reason why I decided to get on YouTube in the first place, and the reason why I started my Substack is because I wanted to expand my thoughts more than just Twitter, right? Because that's where most people know me. Like this YouTube channel only got 13,000 subscribers. I got 60,000+ followers on Twitter. So this is giving me another way for my followers to see me speak in long form, right? So hope you guys enjoyed. We're gonna have another stream on Saturday, similar to this. I may bring on a guest in the second portion. But CJ will be back tomorrow. Oh, wait. I think I'm joining CJ tomorrow. I think CJ. Yeah, I'm joining CJ. We had the Bank Sisters on. I think so. I may be back tomorrow anyway. Then Thursday roundtable, Friday Savvy Sav show on Revolutionary Blackout, and I'll be back Saturday JB show on Sunday. So and check out the general strike clips we posted. Anyway, we're gonna post a lot more clips and get a lot more content because I told you guys the goal is to get to 15,000 subscribers by summertime. So if everyone shared to at least one friend, like everyone who's watching right now, like share it to one friend, that helps out us out a lot. It doesn't have to be a leftist. It can be a conservative. It can be a shit lib because I promise you I can win people over with my politics. We don't do divisive red blue game bullshit. But I am honest with you guys. Like I am honest. I want to grow the channel. I'm humbled by all the work we did last year and the lives and people and the people that we are touching. So if we can hit 15,000 and continue to grow, that's something I really want to do. So help share. And like my friend Quaker says, you can support me directly. Super chats are great, but why you want to pay YouTube? Why pay YouTube? Why you guys know YouTube take like 30% of it. So if you guys really want to support us, the best way to do it is via direct donation, whether it be Cashapp or Venmo. If you want to support the host, you also can support Revolutionary Blackout on Patreon. So thank you guys for watching. We upload every day. Have a good time. Take care, guys.